quiet village of Oloje, Nkem was the woman everyone talked about. Her backside was unlike anything anyone had ever seen, large, round, and perfectly shaped, like it had been molded by the gods themselves. Wherever she went, her backside swayed with an effortless grace that left jaws dropping and conversations starting. For some, it was a marvel, a thing of beauty that they admired from afar. For others, it was a source of jealousy and endless gossip. But for Nkem, it was both a blessing and a curse. She couldn't walk through the market without men stopping to stare, their eyes glued to her as if under a spell. Women whispered behind her back, claiming she must have used charms to enhance her figure. Even little children would giggle and point, saying, "Auntie Nkem, your Yansh is shaking oh!" Despite the attention, Nkem remained humble. She was kind to everyone, always helping those in need. Yet, deep down, she often wished her backside wasn't the first thing people noticed about her. Is this all I am to them? She would wonder late at night. Do they even care about who I am inside? Her struggles didn't stop the admiration she received. Men from far and wide came to her family's compound, hoping to win her heart. Some brought gifts of yams and goats, while others composed songs in her honor. But Nkem turned them all down. "I want someone who loves me for who I am," she told her mother one evening, "not just for how I look." In the same village lived 3 young women, Ada, Aoife, and Bola, who couldn't stand Nkem. They hated how she outshone them without even trying. Her kindness made her popular, and her backside made her unforgettable. "She thinks she's better than everyone," Ada hissed one day as they watched Nkem pass by. "She's stealing all the attention," Aoife added bitterly. "We need to get rid of her," Bola said, her voice low and dangerous. The 3 women came up with a wicked plan. They decided to kidnap Nkem, drag her into the forest, and sell her to traders in a distant town. They had heard that women with unique features fetched a high price, and they were sure Nkem's backside would make her irresistible to the traders. One evening, as Nkem was walking home from the market, the women followed her. The moonlight illuminated the path, casting shadows as her backside swayed with each step. They waited until she reached a quiet stretch of the forest path before making their move. "Grab her!" Bola shouted as they pounced. Nkem screamed, dropping her basket of yams. "What are you doing?" she cried, struggling against them. "Keep quiet," Ada snapped, tying her hands behind her back. "You think you're so special because of that big Yansh?" Eve sneered. "Let's see how special you are when you're sold off." They dragged her deeper into the forest, ignoring her cries for help. But what they didn't know was that the king's guards were patrolling nearby. The guards who were searching for bandits heard the commotion and rushed toward the noise. "Who goes there?" one of the guards barked, his spear raised. The women froze, their plan falling apart in an instant. "What's happening here?" the head guard demanded, stepping closer. They tried to kidnap me," Nkem cried, tears streaming down her face. The guards quickly arrested Ada, Aoife, and Bola, tying them up and marching them back to the village. When they reached the palace, the king himself was enraged by the story. "You 3 have brought shame to this land," he thundered. "Instead of celebrating your sister's beauty and kindness, you let jealousy drive you to wickedness." The women were sentenced to years of hard labor, while Nkem was hailed as a heroine. Her story spread quickly, and even the prince, Ifeanyi, heard of her beauty and grace. The prince, captivated by what he heard, visited Nkem's family. The moment he saw her, he was spellbound, not just by her beauty and her famous backside, but by her humility and strength. Prince Ifeanyi courted Nkem for months, showering her with gifts and sweet words. He visited her family regularly, showing his seriousness. And over time, Nkem saw that he loved her not just for her looks, but for her heart. When he finally proposed, Nkem said yes, and their wedding was the grandest the kingdom had ever seen. People came from far and wide to celebrate, and Nkem, dressed in royal attire, walked into the palace with her head held high, her backside swaying proudly as always. As queen, Nkem ruled with kindness and wisdom. Despite everything the three women had done to her, she couldn't bring herself to hold a grudge. After years of labor, she pardoned them and allowed them to return to their families. "I forgive you," she told them, "but remember, jealousy only destroys the one who carries it." The women, humbled and ashamed, thanked her and left quietly. Nkem became the most beloved queen in the kingdom's history. Her backside, once the source of so much trouble, became a symbol of her strength and resilience. But it was her heart that people truly admired, and her name was remembered for generations to come. What did you learn from this amazing story? Share with me in the comments section. Make sure you subscribe for more amazing stories.